Good evening, people. Welcome to the Shoestring Budget Podcast. Now, this is a complete off the cuff, last minute job, so I apologise in advance if anything technically goes wrong tonight. This was not a planned podcast in the slightest. I was literally in bed and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a cursory flick through Twitter to see what's going on, say goodnight to the lads in the group chat. And I saw that Cristiano Ronaldo was trending. Now, my initial reaction to that was, oh, people are saying already that Garnacho should be replacing Ronaldo. Garnacho should be our new number 7. Certainly after today's fantastic win over Fulham, much needed 3 points. And then I clicked on the link, and wow, to my surprise, Cristiano Ronaldo has gone ahead and done a interview with none other than his good friend Piers Morgan. Now, this is shocking for many reasons. We are obviously mid-season. It's just before the World Cup. Many people expecting him to obviously be leaving, and in some ways it's the best time. In some ways it's the worst time. It's the best time in the sense that the World Cup's coming up, and we haven't got to worry about Ronaldo's comments having too long-lasting effect on the players. However, it's come at a bad time also because it's still mid-season. Regardless of how you want to look at it, there is an international break now, a glorified international break in the World Cup. But I mean, this is not what you want to see from any player, let alone Cristiano Ronaldo. So let's have a quick look here through Twitter. So Fabrizio Romano has tweeted a step-by-step guide of what's been said, and I'll try and break it down as best I can and give my opinion on it. Anybody that wants to jump in the comments and have your say, please do. Just jump in and try and keep it respectful. I don't want you getting banned or anything like that. I'm going to turn my mic down. I think it's quite loud. I don't want anyone to get banned or get into trouble for saying something that they might regret later on, because this is still raw. This is part of the reason I wanted to do it. I didn't want to just digest it and then, try and maybe make a rational view on it. I actually just want to sort of see what's been said and give my raw reaction to it. So Cristiano Ronaldo to Piers Morgan. Man United tried to force me out. Not only the manager, but also the other guys who were around the club. I felt betrayed. I feel that some people did not want me at Manchester United, not only this year, but last season too. So already, straight away, into the cryptic stuff. Like, who's he referring to and what does he mean? Now, obviously, he came in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last season, at the start of last season. Things didn't go either his or Ollie's way, and we parted company with Ollie. He also goes on to say about what happened following on for that. Fabrizio has jumped forward quite a bit in the timeline of things. Cristiano Ronaldo also has slated our current manager, Eric Ten Hag. He says, I don't have respect for Eric Ten Hag because he doesn't show respect for me. If you don't have respect for me, I will never have any for you. Right from the off there, going in on Eric. Now, say what you want about Cristiano Ronaldo. I know that this night in particular, but also just him as a character, him as a person, will really divide the fan base. But wow, going in on your current manager like that, he's got to go now, right? I mean, it's not even a question, I suppose, anymore. He's out. He's gone. There's no way Cristiano Ronaldo comes back from this at Manchester United under Eric Ten Hag. It just doesn't happen. And it's a shame to end. I mean, we said about it in the game against Tottenham Hotspur where he walked off the pitch. And you think it's such a sad way to end your career at Manchester United. You know, all the highs and all the fantastic memories that we've built with you as fans and you as a player. It's such a sad way to end your career at United. But this is even worse. This is a whole new level of madness. So yeah, straight away disrespecting Ten Hag and saying Ten Hag has no respect for him. Now this is something obviously that's been picked up by the fan base. I've seen a lot of it on Twitter. A lot of people divided on which camp they want to be in. Some people saying that Eric Ten Hag doesn't respect Ronaldo, so Eric Ten Hag should leave. The other half of the fan base is saying no, Eric Ten Hag's right. Ronaldo has shown a lack of respect to the manager, to the team, to the fans. He should be out. It's a really blurred line at the moment. I'm in Eric Ten Hag's camp, to be completely honest with you. I will always support a manager over a player, no matter how fantastic that player is. Craig has put, even in JD, my blood is boiling. That interview is disgraceful, simply disgraceful. Like I say, Craig, I said earlier on, I have not seen the full interview. I was going to bed. I was literally in bed. And I just thought I'd have a quick look and see what was going on. And then this is what I've seen. So I'm just going to break down what's being said on Twitter and things like that, go through. I just can't believe this has happened. It's crazy. Cristiano Ronaldo on Ralph Rangnick. So obviously, as I alluded to before, he did speak about things after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Cristiano Ronaldo on Ralph Rangnick. He says, if you are not even a coach, how are you going to be the boss of Man United? I'd never even heard of him. Now, that you can take that in a few different ways. Now, you can take that in the way that Ronaldo's just completely throwing shade there at Ralph Rangnick. Or you can look at it as, were Manchester United right to appoint somebody like that? Now, there is actually a bigger part of the interview that I do have, and I will show it, and I probably will get banned from YouTube, but I don't know if you guys can hear this, but here we go.
I don't know what's going on, but since the Sir Alex Ferguson left, I saw not evolution in the club. The progress was zero. For example, we have an interesting point that how the club as Manchester United, after suck Ole, they bring sport directive Ralph Rangnick, which is something that nobody understands. This guy is not even a coach. A bigger club like Manchester United bring sport directive. Surprised not only me, but all the world.
Now, on Ralph Rangnick, to be honest, I didn't hear much about him before he became Manchester United manager. I'd heard of him because I think he was linked with Chelsea earlier in the year, and I'd heard a bit about him. Didn't know much about him, to be completely honest. So it was a bit of a surprise to me, but I was really impressed with his CV, with his resume. I was impressed with what people said about him. Obviously not a head coach, more of a sporting director, as Ronaldo said, but still, I thought he had enough in the locker to maybe tweak or maybe help the issues that were happening at Manchester United. Now, this is where it becomes a bit of a difficult one for me, because I look at it and go, maybe Ronaldo is right in maybe not saying it publicly, but he's alluding to a bigger picture here. And that is the fact that Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, have then appointed somebody like Ralph Rangnick with no managerial expertise into this job as manager. Still half of the season to go. And as he said, it's not only him, it was the players, it was the fans. Everybody was shocked by that decision. And that is something that Manchester United, as the board, as the owners, everything, we need to address that. Now, we know we've got terrible owners. We know we've got probably the worst owners in football. But having your player, your star boy, come out and publicly humiliate your decision on live television is a new low, even by the standards of this club. I agree with some things he said about the club, but certain things he said, mainly about Ten Hag, Rangnick, has massively crossed a line. This is the point. I think in some ways he's right to point to it, but I don't think it should be publicly pointed to. I do think he's right in what he says. Certainly in the appointment of Ralph Rangnick. I love Ralph Rangnick and I wanted him to stay on under Eric Ten Hag, work alongside him in some capacity. I think he would have done really well. But as a head coach, I do think it's a questionable decision. You know, somebody like Ralph, who has worked as a sporting director, being made manager of the biggest club in the world at a time when they're really struggling. I don't think, not even in hindsight, I don't think on paper it was a great call. It's North OMG's put no need to mention Rangnick. Yeah, no need. He's done. He's finished at the club. He's got nothing whatsoever to do with the club. But I think Ronaldo's trying to paint this picture that almost like a squeaky clean guy. You know, it's nothing to do with me. I came to the club. I did what I had to do. I scored the goals. I carried the team. But look at all the trouble going on around me. I am furious with him what he said about Eric Ten Hag. No need whatsoever to do that. I can't stay for long, Craig, but I'll stay for a little while. I'm not staying on for long. I need to rant, I suppose. I need to see what's
You
going
know,
on. Let's
nothing
watch the
changed.
rest of this.
Surprisingly, not only the pool, the jacuzzi, even the gym, even some points, the technology, the kitchen.
So obviously going on about the fact that nothing has changed within the club. It's still very much like it was under Sir Alex Ferguson. The jacuzzi, the gym, the facilities, nothing has changed in the past 10 years. There's been no development. And we've seen that on the pitch. And Ronaldo is saying we're seeing that off the pitch too. That we're stuck in a time warp. We're stuck in the olden days. We haven't progressed. And that you have to blame on the owners. You have to blame that on the higher ups. It's not down to the players on whether or not we get better facilities. That is down to the board. Now, there could be some good that comes from this. The fact that their star boy, the fact that the biggest name in world football has come forward and said these things, in the long run, it could be beneficial. It could help rejuvenate the Glazer out movement, which we have seen, I think, sort of stagnated over the last few days, last few weeks. Since we've been better, you've seen a decline in the Glazer out, Twitter trends. There's not so many protests before the games. This could lead, and this could point to something bigger. I just don't agree with the way it's been done. Now, in infrastructure and the owners was what he went for. I'd agree with him, but going for Ten Hag and Ragnick is so out of order, so out of pocket, it's so out of order. Yeah, I agree. That for me is where this whole thing kind of falls apart. He is trying to save himself here. He's trying to defend, himself, make himself look out to be the best thing that's happened to Manchester United, even though everything else around him is completely falling apart. That's what he's trying to portray. Ronaldo also went on to say, as Picasso said, you've to destroy it to rebuild it. And if they start with me, for me, it's not a problem. A club of this size should be at the top, but this is not the case. There is no excuses. It's a difficult one because on one hand, he's already alluded to it with Picasso. He's trying to destroy Manchester United, but only in order to rebuild it. But you don't need to bring up Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag is a big part of the future. He's a big part of the push to get Manchester United back up there. He really conflicts me, Ronaldo. I've got to admit, he's really conflicting because a lot of things I do agree with. And I think a lot of things, despite even Ralph Ragnick, even bringing up Ralph Ragnick, I know it's not nice to name and shame someone, but when you're talking about his appointment and the fact that, as I said before, Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, are bringing someone like Ralph Ragnick into the club, someone who hasn't had the worlds of managerial experience, somebody who's not managed at an elite level. He's coming into this club and you expect us to perform to an elite level. It's not going to happen, or if it does, it's by a bit of fluke and a bit of miracle. But that alludes to the bigger picture of the Glazers. That points to the fact that these guys who are running the club, who own the club, are not doing the right things, are not putting the right measures in place. And that's what it alludes to. But I don't agree with how he's done it. It's a difficult one. Really difficult one. 100% agree, Paul. No need to bring Ten Hag and Ragnick into it. There is and there isn't. There's ways to do it. Eric Ten Hag, no way. He's your current manager. You respect him. In private, do what you need to do. In public, you respect him. You put respect on that man's name. He has worked his bollocks off for this club. He has taken us from a really floundering team to a team that the fans can actually get behind. He's rejuvenated that squad. You do not need to bring him down. You do not need to put the spotlight back on him after it just being taken off him after what you did at Tottenham. There's no need whatsoever to bring Eric Ten Hag up into it. You can bring Ralph Ragnick up, in my opinion, only in the sense of pointing to the fact that Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, has been given a sporting director to manage the club, which points the finger at the Glazers. That is it. Do not say I don't know who they were. Do not say Eric Ten Hag doesn't respect me, so I won't respect him. Not in public. There's no reason. You've split the fan base yet again. Manchester United go into this World Cup on the back of a win, last minute goal. Everyone's absolutely up and bouncing about. Everyone was happy. And then you come and do this. It's the Ronaldo show. Absolute joke. Now it makes sense why Piers Morgan was defending Ronaldo like his life depended on it after the Spurs incident. Now Piers was ridiculous. I'm surprised he didn't block me. I tweeted him profusely because he was saying that Ronaldo is bigger than Manchester United. He was the be all and end all of the club, and blah 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 blah. You're right, Craig. Now you can see why. Cristiano Ronaldo tells Piers Morgan, Manchester United have betrayed me. I have been black sheep and I don't respect Eric Ten Hag. I have got the article. I will go through that as well now. So this is the quote that comes from. I won't read you the rest because I hate this rag and I'm sorry to put it on your screens. It's just Piers Morgan, of course, he's put it in the Sun. Of Ten Hag, who suspended Ronaldo last month for refusing to come on last-minute substitute against Tottenham, he says, I don't have respect for him because he doesn't have respect for me. If you don't have respect for me, I'm never going to respect you. If you don't have respect for me, I'm never going to have respect for you. Must have said it twice. As for some of the most ferocious critics like former teammate Wayne Rooney, who has publicly attacked Ronaldo for months and urged United to get rid of him, he is witheringly scornful of their headline-grabbing motives. He says, I don't know why he criticises me so badly, probably because he finished his career and I'm still playing at a high level. Then he chuckles and adds, I'm not going to say that I'm looking better than him, which is true. That bit is true. Come on. But look at them. Piers Morgan, man. You know things are bad when you get an interview by Piers Morgan. Now, obviously, they do talk a lot about what happened to his daughter, and we do have to respect the fact that, you know, he went through the worst thing that's possible for any parent in losing a child. Twins as well, so that he lost, I think it was the little boy he lost. And, you know, that is the most devastating thing as a parent, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy. I really wouldn't. But as far as I'm aware, we've supported him in that. The fans have, even the Liverpool fans, this article just said about it then, the Liverpool fans singing You'll Never Walk Alone on the 7th minute at Anfield. Now, I can't stand Liverpool. I really detest Liverpool, but it's things like that you put your rivalry to one side and you can actually just respect Ronaldo, the person, his partner, the person. Totally understand that. I totally understand he's going through things. During pre-season, he didn't turn up to pre-season. He didn't go on the tour. There was no song and dance from Manchester United. It was very much, okay, we've accepted it, move on. That was probably something to do with wanting to stay close to home, which I understand. The fans weren't riled by his antics. Any other player would have been booed out of the squad. People made special measures for Cristiano Ronaldo. And this is how he treats not only his manager, but his club. And although I do agree with 50-60% of what he says, there's a time and a place and a way to do it. On the eve of a World Cup, on the back of a win, it's just not the time. Just not the time. I'm so disappointed and I'm so upset with him. But this is it now. Ronaldo's finished at the club. I mean, that's him with the family. You know, I'm just having a look through here. It's awful. In terms of coming back to Manchester United, I followed my heart, he said. Sir Alex Ferguson, said to me, it's impossible for you to come to Manchester City. And I said, okay, boss. The fans have been great with him. The fans have been great with him. And all this has done now, all this is going to do is cause more division, more anger and more bitterness between United fans at a time that I really wanted us to be coming together. The only things that we've had to fall out with over this season is Ronaldo. You know, there's a couple of games where people have said, "Oh, this shouldn't have happened, etc., etc." there was the whole Eric 9 hog or Eric 10 months thing before the second game of the season after that defeat at Brentford. And then all of a sudden we beat Liverpool and everyone forgets about that and it's all upwards. The only things that I've seen us consistently fall out over is Cristiano Ronaldo. His antics pre-season, his antics when he left the game in the pre-season game, went out at half-time after being substituted. You know, the antics of him walking off after the Tottenham Hotspur game, before the 90 minutes had even expired. These are the things that we're talking about, and these are the things that we're falling out at over as a fan base. When Ronaldo leaves in January, and it will all be Eric Ten Hag this, Eric Ten Hag that, the pressure will build on him. Mistakes will be made, could be made. And then the same fans that want Ronaldo out, the same fans that want Ronaldo to stay will want Eric Ten Hag out. And this is the division that this kind of madness produces. I'm livid. I'm tired. I'm livid. Craig's put, time to seriously talk about striker options for January. No way he plays for us again. He is done. He has got to be done at Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag cannot look himself in the mirror and say, Ronaldo plays, and walk away with any self-respect. It just can't happen. There's no way it can happen. Like I say, guys, I'm not going to keep you long. I'm done with him. I'm done, and it's such a sad way to end what has been a fantastic career. And he's been a fantastic servant to the club. And although he alludes to some fantastic points, and the bigger picture being that we are run by people who do not care about Manchester United, despite what they try and tell you, despite what rival fans spout to you, they do not care about Manchester United. And Ronaldo does. Ronaldo clearly does care about Manchester United. But to slag off your current manager, a manager who is taking us forward, a manager that's taking us in the right direction, making good signings, making us run more, making us play better, making us change our philosophy and our mentality, to slag him off is where I draw the line. I will always back a manager over a player if I think the manager is in the right. Eric Ten Hag dealt with Ronaldo in the best possible way, suspended him for the next game against Chelsea, and then let him come back into the squad to prove himself yet again. And did he prove himself? Absolutely not. Like I said in the tweet earlier, I see any ex-player publicly defend Ronaldo on live TV or through social media, I will genuinely hit the roof. Now, this is it. This is where your Patrice Evras, your Rio Ferdinands, your Gary Nevilles, maybe not Gary Neville actually. Let's give Gary Neville credit. He's been taken off the Christmas card list. But this is where your big media people start coming out the woodwork and fanboying Ronaldo over Manchester United. And they will all slag Eric Ten Hag off. We, as a fan base, need to stick together. We do not need these divisions. The best thing in a way about it happening now is it's the World Cup, and we will hopefully have forgotten about this as much as possible by the time that the season restarts itself. But we seriously need to look for a striker. We need a replacement. And more than ever now, the best thing that could come from this is that Manchester United and the board realise we can't rely on Ronaldo. He's too much of an explosive cannon. We've got to let him go. We have to spend some money now. Sign Cody Gakpo. Just sign Choupo-Moting. I don't care. Just sign somebody to see us through to the summer. If you sign Cody Gakpo now, he can't play in any of the Europa League, but we've got him for all the Premier League to try and get us back to the top four. That has got to be this season's target, is a top four finish. And there's no shame in admitting that, you know. We had our worst season in Premier League history last season. We were shocking. We were all over the place. This season, we've started to look like we can play. Roy Keane is the biggest Ronaldo. Do you know what? I can't believe Roy Keane. Roy Keane infuriated me with his defence of Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, one person I thought would have put the club above the individual was Roy Keane, but Roy Keane doesn't. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Craig Moore put respect Roy Keane. Seriously, though, I agree with Paul. He's so far up Ronaldo's, he probably isn't able to breathe. I love Roy Keane with a passion, Craig. I really do. But nah, Paul's absolutely spot on. Roy Keane is the worst of the lot. But yeah, that's me done. Cristiano Ronaldo absolutely slaughtering Eric Ten Hag, and I'm livid for it. I'm absolutely livid for it. Like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Big up to Paul and Craig. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for ranting with me. If anyone else disagrees, or anybody else has a certain angle that they want to talk about, I'm up for a discussion. I'm up for a debate. But please drop me a DM, comment on Twitter. I'll always read it. I'll always respond. I'm up for differing opinions because I like to learn. That's how I learn. But I really struggle to see how anyone can seriously defend Cristiano Ronaldo's actions here tonight, other than the fact that he's pointing to a bigger picture in the way that the club is run by the Glazers and the board. Peace, guys. I'll see you when he says something else mad. Peace.